All right, guys, what's going on? I hope you're doing good. Talking about the Summer Wells case again, and some people left some comments. This video is really basically just about going over some of your comments and Andy Bernard. Going over your comments and Andy Bernard. So, I guess in my last video, I said I was just kind of blabbing on about the whole polygraph thing with Fred and Andy. I kind of made the assumption, well, if TBI or Hawkins County didn't want to do a polygraph on Andy, I was just like, well, I'm not going to really look at him until the police maybe give me a reason to look at him. That has happened. The police have given me a reason to look at Andy. And let me just let you, I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but anyway, Ziggy was talking with Detective Pruitt about Andy being on Ben Hill Road that day Summer went missing when he was supposed to be at work. And the police said that, yeah, they questioned him several times about that. And pay attention here, guys. They questioned him several times about that. Now, if Andy was at work all day and they could have just went and seen it down at his work, it's cut and dry. There should not be no, yeah, we questioned him several times about that. It should have been cut and dry. There shouldn't have been several times being questioned about being on Ben Hill Road when you should have been at work that day. So, as a matter of fact, let me let you listen to it, guys.
TBI and FBI have questioned him several times concerning that.
All right, there you go. So, Pruitt is a police officer investigating the Summer Wells case, and I said until police give me a reason to suspect Andy, well, there you go. Andy's back on my radar. He's back on, because I totally forgot about that. Now, with one of the comments, L Brown 6859 said, I agree. I have said from the beginning, I would go so far as to say they should sequester all of the Beach Creek bunch, hold them, including Grandma, until the truth comes out. Just because they don't seem interested in a certain individual doesn't mean they are innocent or don't know anything or are not involved. And that is a great point, great comment, because, I mean, yeah. We seen that played out in the Holly Bobo case with the TBI. TBI was not interested at all, it doesn't seem like, in the actual people that committed the crime in the Holly Bobo case, the murder. It didn't seem like TBI was really getting hot until the private investigators that the family hired basically figured it out for them, right? So basically you've got a bunch of civilians that really figured the case out. TBI kind of got pissy about it, went after them, and then the TBI finally, and police finally, arrested the people and charged the people that actually murdered Holly Bobo. But up until that point, they really hadn't, they were cold. They were going the other way with, I guess, suspects. I don't even know if they had any suspects, to be honest with you. But those private investigators that the family hired, they done a hell of a job. And for the TBI to, get pissy with them because they figured it out, I thought that was kind of unclassy of them to act that way. They were even rude to the guy that found Holly Bobo's skull. He's out there ginseng hunting and found Holly Bobo's skull, and dude was like pissy to him. And it's like, gee, guy, you know, he told him, he said, if your daughter was missing, wouldn't you be glad someone found her? You know, so I think it's just a bunch of egos with the police and all that stuff. It's a shame, though, guys. It's a shame. But yeah, that was a great comment there. Let's see. Got another great comment here. It's just a generic username or whatever. But anyway, it says the focus of an investigation can change drastically while it's ongoing, which is true. This is still an open and active investigation. The information as to who has and hasn't taken a polygraph is not necessarily released. That is a great possibility. But if Andy Bernard took a polygraph test, I'm sure he would say whether he did or didn't. I mean, Dawn and Candace come out and said they did. So I'm sure Andy would have come out and said he did or didn't, you know. So up till this point, I just assumed that he hasn't taken a polygraph, or else he'd be like, you know, hey, I passed a polygraph and I passed it, you know, or whatever. I don't know. If, you know, now if he did take a polygraph and he failed it, that could be a reason why he's not saying nothing about a polygraph test, right? That could be a thing too. Goes on to say, I do wonder about the effectiveness of a polygraph. If a person has taken drugs, if they fail, couldn't they just claim they have been high? Yeah, you know, they definitely want to do a polygraph while you're sober, not on any, you know, substances, no alcohol, you know, anything like that. But there again, you know, this person makes a good point in that the investigation can change drastically at any time while it is ongoing. That is a great comment. So I wanted to make a video, get that in the video today and talk about that. Talk about Andy Bernard being back on my radar, because now going back after that, I mean, thanks to Ziggy, I mean, I know Ziggy kind of got, you know, upset at Pruitt for hanging up on her. But it got out what Pruitt, you know, Pruitt got out what we wanted to hear. It took several times, or it took several questioning attempts. I mean, they questioned Andy Bernard several times about being on Ben Hill Road that day. Now, why is that so important? Because if he was on Ben Hill Road, or if he was not on Ben Hill Road that day and can prove it through the camera at his employer, they shouldn't have had to ask Andy Bernard several times about being on the road that day, right? It shouldn't have been a big deal. It shouldn't have been complicated, right? It cut and dry. You know, it should have went like this. Mr. Bernard, we want to talk to you about, you know, this claim about you being on Ben Hill Road the day Summer went missing. Andy's like, hey, I wasn't on Ben Hill Road that day. You know, yada yada. You can go to my work and prove it. You know, I was on camera all day at work. All right, well, we'll go do, well, who's your employer? You know, and they look at the camera. Yeah, he was here all day. That's it. That's it. We're done, right? But why did it take them several questioning attempts? And why did they question him several times about it, guys? It shouldn't have went that far. Something like that should be cut and dry, especially if you got a damn camera footage from his employer to back up his alibi, right? I mean, am I right? Let me know in the comments if you think I'm right about that. So anyway, guys, that's basically what I got for you. Andy Bernard's back on my radar. Boy, it's probably gonna piss Jody Sue off, ain't it? Oh, and the other thing about Jody Sue, people keep asking me why does Jody Sue act the way she does and talk the way she does, and the only thing I can figure out, guys, is if back in the right before Summer went missing, apparently Andy and Jody Sue, they didn't have a healthy relationship, right? And I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Jody Sue has maybe taken too many punches to the head, or whatever, from Andy, and hence the way she acts today. I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe she had a bunch of concussions from getting punched in the head, by Andy Bernard, and never went to the hospital to get them checked. Concussions are pretty bad, guys. They're pretty bad. They can have lasting impacts, and if you have a series of them, they can be fatal, right? So, I mean, the best answer I can give you guys as to why Jody Sue acts and talks the way she does is, maybe she's just been hit in the head, punched in the head one too many times by Andy Bernard. Never thought about that until now, but because, I mean, everything, right when Summer went missing, it's just like poof, they disappeared off Ben Hill Road. I mean, they were together, since high school almost, and they decide to disappear when Summer disappears. They get off Ben Hill Road right after Summer disappears. And around that time, too, very interesting. It was a very turbulent time right before and after Summer went missing, apparently, because right after Summer went missing, sometime in August, was it Andy Jr., Damon, whatever his name is, the one that went into the military. I heard that, he done an order protection on Andy, his dad. And I think there's even some screen snippets through the Hawkins County website of that. I think it's public record. You can go. It's probably been passed out there on YouTube already, but Why did, I mean, like I said, around that time that Summer went missing, before she went missing and after she went missing, it's pretty violent over at 125 Ben Hill Road, supposedly. And again, maybe Jody Sue took, too many punches to the head, and that's why she's not right today. The boy done an order of protection on Andy. What's all that about, right? Supposedly. So, it definitely makes you want to put that bunch of people back on your radar. It sure does, don't it? So, Andy Bernard is back on my radar. Thanks to the police making that statement. If Pruitt hadn't have made that statement, I would be looking elsewhere. I'd still be looking at Dawn and Candace. So right now, I'm looking at Dawn, Candace, and Andy, and like this person says, an investigation can change drastically at any moment because it's still ongoing. So that means anybody, could get thrown into this officially, could get, implicated as to suspicious activity or questioning or, stuff. Like the whole Andy Bernard thing with the police. Jody Sue could get drug into it. Anybody else? There's all kinds of people up there that the police could come out and, I'm sure Pruitt probably didn't know he was being recorded, but it's stuff like that, guys. It's and like when I was talking to TBI trying to dig up information on Fred Hill, she kind of just acted like they're not interested in Fred Hill. But again, like this says, anything can change at any time in an open and active investigation. So, It's just whatever comes out from the police, you got to digest it and go, okay. Like I did. I was like, okay. So why did it take them several attempts to ask Andy about being on Ben Hill Road June 15th? Should have been cut and dry with the video evidence he had at work. Makes you wonder, don't it, guys? It makes you wonder. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you for listening to me rant. And like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next video.